Mahamantra.info O Arkatanya Kandra. I offer you my repeated obeisances. You are the personification of Kai's blissful pastimes. And you are extraordinarily beautiful, having a dazzling golden luster. You have awarded to the people of the world the topmost mellows of ecstatic love for Ka. Magalkaram Om Ajnati Mirandhasi Janajana Alke Chakur Unmlita Yena Tasma Agurve Nama. I bow down to the Guru, who opens the eyes of the blind with the salve of knowledge. Nityananda Mahasi Vande. Karne Lambita Moktikam Ketanai Grajarpena. Pavitra Kartabtlam. I humbly bow down to and glorify Lord Sri Nityanand Prabhu, on whose beautiful left lotus ear one elegant pearl ornament is swinging. Accepting the role as the elder brother of the Supreme Lord Gouranga Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityanand Prabhu sanctified the whole world and purified all the living entities. Nanda elelevit Macron Maya Vigrahe Hembha Divyakchavi Sundare Tasma Mahpre Maras Pradya Katanya Kandra Namo Namaste Jay Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhattar Gunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasar Gunath Krishna Ei Chai Gosai Kori Charan Vandan Jaha Hoit Bijnanas Abhista Puran. All glories to Sri Rupa GOSVM, Sanatan GOSVM, Raghunath Bhatta GOSVM, Sri Jiva GOSVM, Gopala Bhatta GOSVM, and Raghunath Dasa GOSVM. I offer my obeisances to the feet of these 6 Gosvamis. By offering them obeisances, all obstacles to devotion are destroyed, and spiritual desires are fulfilled. Jaya Jaya A Gaurang Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advat Kandra Jaya Gadadhar Jaya Gaura Bhaktavi NDA. All glories to Lord A Gaurang Mahaprabhu and Lord A Nityananda. All glories to Advat Kandra, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Gauranga. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Arme Hare Arme 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 Hare Hare. Mahamantra.info. I would like to point out that my profession has nothing to do with writing, and that this work is presented to you with a great deal of effort. Please note that this work may contain many technical errors, so I ask for your pardon at the outset for any fault that is committed. If only a text like this had existed 25 years ago, either perfectly edited or with errors, I would have liked to have had this information at the beginning of my journey in Bhakti in this lifetime. This information is very valuable, and I hope that all receive it in the best light and that they might profit from its understanding and the bhajan of the Mahamantra, the greatest of the mantras. With infinite gratitude I offer this work to my eternal Gurudev Sri Radharman Charan Das Dev, who appeared in this world at the appropriate moment, when it seemed as if all were hopeless, and took me out of the darkness to bring me into his garden of noble souls. I also give thanks to those who directly or indirectly contributed to the creation of this essay. To Sri Braj Gopal Das Agrawal for his invaluable hours of sweet conversation and guidance in Shastra. To Sri Chandan Goswami of Sri Sri Radharman Mandir in Vrindavan, for his nectarian conversation concerning the truth of the Mahamantra, who gave me the insight to see that my studies were as if guided by an external force, and were correct. To Satyanarayan Das Babaji Maharaj of the Jiva Institute for giving me clues for this study of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I give thanks to Swami Bhaktivedanta for teaching me that one should fight for the truth without compromise. I also give thanks to that small group of persons who sought to humiliate me publicly on social media with lies and calumnies. They have in their own way been an instrument of my greatest blessing. Furthermore, I give infinite thanks to Gaura Sangha, to all my students and spiritual family for being a foundational pillar of inspiration in my studies of the philosophy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Not only that, but I openly thank all for their support from the outset. Likewise, I give thanks to all my followers on social media. Finally, I give eternal thanks to my Sri Gurudev for his support, his empowering me and his protection in this mission. Vanchakalpatharubhyascha Chakripā Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sincerely, Sri Vaishnav Dasanudas Paramananda Das. Mahamantra.info. The original practice of the Mahamantra differs from the popular practice in the current time. Even if these words sound strange at the moment, surely by the end of the text all doubts will be burned by the sacred fire of Shastra. The practice taught by Sriman Mahaprabhu was to chant the Mahamantra in Japa exclusively. The chanting or recitation of Japa has 3 levels that are adapted to each level of the practitioner. The first level is Vachika chanting, that refers to recitation or chanting the Mahamantra, counting, Japa, while the holy name is pronounced aloud. This is the example that we see in all citations of Sri Gauranga chanting the Hare Krishna mantra aloud. It should be noted that there are no verses that show Sri Gauranga chanting the Mahamantra without Japa, but the proof of Shastra shows him chanting the Mahamantra only in Japa. The same can be seen in the case of the master of the holy name Sri Haridas Thakur, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, and all of Sri Gaurang's associates. All this information is revealed in the present text so that you can analyze it, meditate upon it deeply, and thus improve your sadhana and finally, reach perfection. This is the promise of Sri Gaurang as we will show in the following pages. Such terms as Mahamantra, Harinam, Sankirtan, and Kirtan are discussed in the present text, demonstrating that each word has its specific role and that they are not synonyms. Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu taught Japa of the Mahamantra, differentiating it from Sankirtan and Kirtan of Harinam. Preface: the Mahamantra is the best of the mantras for the liberation of souls at the universal level. The Mahamantra appears in a section of the Upanishads called Kali Santarana Upanishad, as well as in the Puranas. The power of the Mahamantra reaches its full potency thanks to the manifestation on earth of Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu. 500 years ago in Bengal, the golden avatar manifested himself to grant liberation to all creatures in this creation. The simple act of chanting the Mahamantra would bring to the sincere practitioner all spiritual blessings and the greatest fortune, the lotus feet of Jay Sri Radheshyam. In this text, the Mahamantra will be presented from the original perspective, just as it was taught by Sri Gaurang to his intimate associates, followers, and the world in general. This was how the practice was accepted by his own, including the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. It is necessary to see this study from the scientific point of view, independent of personal, emotional, or sectarian interpretations. What is important here are provable facts, and we will cite verses from Shastra and their translations. 1 + 1 = 2, not 3 or 4. Mahamantra.info. Before the apparition of Bhagwan on earth, or in other regions of the universe, there is a decline or deviation from the principles of dharma. This is why he manifests himself an infinite number of times. This is the case with Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu, who manifested himself more than 500 years ago in Bengal, India, and with him manifested the Yuga Dharma named Harinam Sankirtan, the glorification of the names of Hari. The Mahamantra of Sri Gaurang Swayam Bhagwan Sri Krishna, in his supreme love, manifests himself millennium after millennium for the well-being and liberation of the jivas, who are trapped in the claws of Maya, the great illusion. Swayam Bhagwan must appear to eradicate bad practices and re-establish dharma. Thus, God himself explains, Sri Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita, Paritre esevit macron diachenevit macron vinyasiye duktam dharma sastpan rathya sambhavmi yuge yuge, to redeem the pious and to annihilate the impious, and thus to re-establish the principles of dharma. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Bhagavad Gita with Macron 4.8. The present text is written with the intention to assist the reader in his or her spiritual development. But I should clarify that this is not for practitioners who are at the level of Kanistha Adhikari or below. If the reader has a weak religious faith, an infantile fanaticism towards their guru or their own ideas, this text will not help them in their current state. It may help them in the future, but this is solely dependent on the kripa of Sri Krishna. In the end, only he knows when it is the right time for each soul. If the reader has already traversed part of the path and feels that there is still something amiss, that their effort seems to be faltering, that the chanting of the Mahamantra and the process of spiritual advancement seems stuck, then this text will bestow the highest benefit. It is important to keep in mind at the outset that Sri Guru is eternal and not just any other person. The opinions of different spiritual leaders should be respected, but only Sri Gaurang, the Nitya Siddhs, and Shastra are a praman to be followed 108%, and all sincere practitioners should accept and adapt to them, for in them there is neither fall down nor error. Harinam. The word Harinam is composed of 2 words, Hari, which refers normally to God, but can also refer to green, tawny, yellow, Vishnu, Krishna, Yam, air, wind, Indra, the moon, the sun, lion, ray of light, parrot, monkey, serpent, frog, Shiva, one of the 9 Varshas, Brahma, fire, goose, peacock, golden, to take, to steal, and to overpower. And the other word is Nam, that means name, or also it can also translate as to reverence. Sanskrit is a complex language due to the meaning of words being highly dependent on context. Sanskrit texts can be seen from various different points of view, which results in a rich tradition of mysticism in India. Everyone reads the Bhagavad Gita, yet some conclude that the final goal is Para Brahman, while others focus on Krishna. Both readings are correct, since the interpretation depends on the nature of each seeker. Harinam thus means the name of Hari. This is the base of the essential practice in Kali Yuga and possibly of all the yugas in the past, present, and future. Harinam refers to any name of Hari, such as Narsimha, Narayan, Vishnu, Gopal, Govinda, Rama, etc. And it just doesn't refer exclusively to the Mahamantra, otherwise it wouldn't require its own name, Mahamantra. Also, the Mahamantra is a mantra and not just a name, as it consists of a chain of 3 names combined 16 times. Another fact to keep in mind is that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is part of a great number of supreme mantras, and all of these are combinations of the names of Hari. Just because the Mahamantra doesn't begin with Om and end with Swaha or Namha doesn't mean it isn't a mantra. As stated above, the Mahamantra is only one of a number of existing Mahamantras, and not all are revealed at our level of reality. Sapta Koti Mahamantra Shekro Dev Shekra Vijnanam Janana Sandanas Tejor Shir Jagatpati Het is the crown of the 70 million Mahamantras. It is the crown of the gods. It is transcendental knowledge. It is refulgent. It is the master of the worlds. Sri Gopala Sahasranam 139. The Mahamantra appears in the Upanishads and the Puranas and thus should be considered a mantra since these are part of the Vedas. The word Mahamantra is significant, since in it is shown that this composition is the greatest of the mantras, even if it doesn't open with the bija Om or end with Swaha, Prachodyat, Namha, or other, traditional, closing of a mantra. The simple fact of it being called Mahamantra should be understood as it is, without mental constructs concerning its meaning. If it reads Mahamantra, it means Mahamantra and not something else. Mahamantra.info. O King, even though Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, still there is one good quality of this era. By chanting the names of Krishna, one can be freed from material bondage and ascend to the transcendental realm. Yuga Dharma. When we refer to the Yuga Dharma, we mean the eternal activity to be performed by the conditioned soul, or the jiva, in order to obtain liberation or the highest spiritual development. This Yuga Dharma has been indicated clearly by Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Harea eneme harayan mava kevalam kalo ene with macronestivai, eva ene with macronestivai evansti eva gatir anyat. CC Madhya 6.24. To this words from Sriman Mahaprabhu are confirmed as well in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kaler doanidir jannasti hy eko mahan gwaktind eva kasya muktasaga paravrajet. SB 12th March 1951. The words of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu are also confirmed by the Kali Santarana Upanishad, where Brahmadev, creator of the material universe, instructs Narada Muni. Sahovaka Brahma Sadhu Prishtosmi Sarvashruti Rahasyam Gopyam Taktrinu Yena Kali Samsaram Tarishasi. Lord Brahma responded, "You asked the most important and relevant question for the benefit of humanity. I will tell you the most hidden secret. The secret of the Vedic scriptures. With this help all can easily cross this most dangerous era of Kali. Sahovaka Hiranya Garbha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare iti Shodashkam Namnam. Kali Kalmashanashanam Nata Partropya. Sarvedeshu Drishyate. Narada asks what this name of Narayan? And Brahma responds, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mahamantra.info. Lord Brahma responds, no rules or regulations are involved in chanting this Mahamantra. It should always be chanted, independently, if one finds himself in a pure or impure condition. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. These 16 names destroy the harmful effects of Kali. There is no better remedy than this in all the Vedas. Punar Narda Prapacha Bhagwan Kasya Vidhiriti. Srila Narda asked Lord Brahma again, what is the procedure and rule for chanting this Mahamantra? Here Narda Muni asks what are the rules for this Mahamantra, which indicates that Sri Narda knows that this mantra is not only Harinam, but a mantra which has rules and regulations. If the Mahamantra were not a mantra, this question would be a non sequitur. Someone may think that Narda Muni, who is the spiritual master of the entire universe, isn't very intelligent since he is confusing Harinam for a mantra. This wouldn't just be falling into apradha against one of the greatest Vaishnavas at the level of the entire universe, but it also indicates a terrible eclipse of consciousness in whoever would come to think like this. Tam hovaka nase vidhiriti sarvada shusya shusira va pathan brahmanam saloke samipya saruptam sayujitam eti. Here Brahmadev indicates what Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu will also state. There are no regulations other than counting the repetitions of the Mahamantra. As a mantra, This is the only regulation. We read in the next verse, Yadasya Shodashikasi Sardha Trikotir Japtitara Brahma Hatyam Tarti Veera Hatyam Swarnsteyat Puto Bhavti. P3 Deva Manunshanam Apkarat Puto Bhavti. When one chants the 16 names of the Mahamantra 35 million times, he is absolved of the sin of killing a Brahma or a Kshatri, or stealing or participating in harmful activities against one's ancestors, other persons or living entities. Brahmdev indicating a number of repetitions of the Mahamantra is supremely significant, as all mantras effectively work under a prescribed number, which we will evidence further on in the words and instructions of the same Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. With this information we can understand that in this age of Kali there is no other form to obtain liberation other than the chanting of the names of Hari. Sankirtan, the word Sankirtan, is translated as praise, glorification, celebration, act of mentioning completely. This is not related directly to a musical event, but is a glorification. In the Gaudiya Vaishnav context, the translation of Sankirtan would be glorification of the names of God, which is correct if we examine the term Harinam Sankirtan. Webster's dictionary defines glorification as to make glorious by bestowing honor, praise, or admiration, which corresponds to the Sanskrit dictionary. Glorification is evidently the act of glorifying. Again, to glorify isn't a synonym for music, but it means to utter words that glorify. In understanding that, Sankirtan doesn't mean to play musical instruments while one glorifies the name of Hari. This opens a secret passage for the meaning of Harinam Sankirtan. One is mistaken if one assumes the words Sankirtan and Kirtan to be synonyms. These words can go together, as in asana and pranayam can in yoga, but they are not the same things. When we wish to understand things just as they are in a photograph, we should observe all the details of the image, such as the sky, the ground where the people are, objects, what's behind the center of the photo, colors, details, etc. In the same way, understanding what words go with what concepts is of the greatest importance when studying complex topics like the philosophy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which not even the great philosophers of the time could understand. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Saint Francis de Sales, for 500 years, since the entrance of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu into the uppercut Leela, the philosophy and instruction of Mahaprabhu has suffered distortions which can directly cause failure in the practice of the sadhaka. In the following pages, we will give evidence of some tremendous errors which should be corrected. If not on the level of the sampradaya, at least we can correct them at the individual level as a vow of Shraddha and Tapas concerning the divine instructions of Sriman Gaurang and his associates, the eternal Nitya Siddhs of Gaura Leela. Thus, we can find the greatest goal of life, Prema Bhakti. One interesting detail here is that Shraddha is translated as faith, but more accurately it is translated as based in the truth. The term Shraddha is not a blind faith, but a faith which has developed by analytic study. For this reason, the Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 areas: action, analysis, and devotion. This is the real faith of the Gaudiya Vaishnav. Mahamantra.info. In the authorized biographies of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, such as the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Chandramrita, among other golden texts that describe the events surrounding Sri Gauranga and his eternal associates, we can find the stories of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which are pure and crystalline like the headwaters of the Ganges in the Himalayas. As they descend around the villages, towns, and cities of India, these waters seem to get contaminated with filth. In the same way, the instructions of the avatars of Sri Hari that restore the Yuga Dharma seem to be contaminated with the filth of the human population. Thanks to the tremendous efforts of the intimate associates of Mahaprabhu, we still have the original writings that we can study to find the true teachings of the greatest of the avatars, Sri Gauranga. In all the biographies of Sri Gauranga, we find 3 aspects of the practice carried out by Mahaprabhu and his associates, which we can divide into sadhana, Sankirtan, and Kirtan. It is well known that the movement of Nimai Pandit began with Sankirtan and sadhana, transmitted directly by Sri Gauranga to his disciples and close acquaintances. Mahamantra The Mahamantra is the mantra given by Sri Gauranga as the greatest liberator for the souls in Kali Yuga. Different sampradayas employ other mantras, including Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Shivaya, Om Shri Durgaya Namah, Trambakam Yajamhe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityomukshya Mamrita, Radhe Krishna 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 Radhe 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 Shyam Shyam Radhe Radhe out of the many mantras. For our Gaudiya Vaishnav philosophy, and as followers of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we accept the Mahamantra as the supreme mantra that benefits all living entities. There is a great chasm between the real practice of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and what is popularly believed to be his practice and teachings. Seekers of the truth would surely want to know what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu really sang and how he chanted the Mahamantra. This is vital information, so we cite the following from Chaitanya Bhagavata by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Prabhu Bal, Kabakti Hoka Sabrakana Megwa by Ene with Macron Balihara Mahamantra.info. These verses clear up any doubt concerning what mantra should be chanted. Now, seeing as the Mahamantra is a mantra composed of a special sequence of 3 names of Hari, as a mantra there should be a manner of chanting it. If the Mahamantra were merely the names of Hari, then there would be no prescription for chanting it. In the next verse, Shriman Mahaprabhu clears up all possible ambiguities concerning how to employ the supreme mantra, and this proves that the Mahamantra is a mantra, as implied in the name, which is revealed in the Vedas as is the case for all mantras. The Lord said to them, "May all attain devotional service to Krishna. Speak of nothing other than the names and qualities of Krishna." CB 23rd February 1974. Pain Saber Prabhu Kare Updese Kayaname Mahamantra Sunaha Hari. The Lord personally instructed all. Listen to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. CB 23rd February 1975. Hare Ka Hare Ka Hare 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 Arme Hare Arme 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 Hare Hare. CB 23rd February 1976. Prabhu Bal, Kahila Ei Mahamantra Eh Japa Ge Seb Kariye Nirbandha. The Lord continued, "This is the Mahamantra. Go all of you and chant this mantra according to a prescribed number." CB 23rd February 1977. This revelatory verse impresses into eternity that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu instructed his devotees to chant the Mahamantra in japa exclusively, as prescribed number, signifies specifically and without ambiguity that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be chanted according to a prescribed number. Those who for personal reasons refuse to accept this instruction of Sri Gauranga affirm that there is no verse that prohibits the singing of the Mahamantra in Kirtan. But the reason for the prohibition is dictated in the following verses. It's important to note that it is erroneous to posit a Sri Gauranga who gives instructions in biblical or Islamic style complete with threats of hell, nor should one think that he will say things like, "You will rot along with your family if you disobey me." Let us remember that Sri Gauranga is the avatar of supreme love, and his mission is to save the Kali Jivas with his ocean of divine love. Mahamantra.info. In the following verse, Sri Gauranga describes the singing of Kirtan. Here the golden avatar destroys all doubt concerning the Mahamantra and distinguishes between what is for japa and what is for Kirtan, and not decapitate them as Sri Kalki avatar will do later. In the following verse, Sri Gauranga reveals the result of chanting the Mahamantra in japa. Important. All the verses that I am citing are continuous. These aren't verses from different texts cherry-picked to justify a predetermined interpretation. Rather, their being continuous demonstrates the truth and logic of this study. Eh hate sarv siddhi habe sabra sarv ka bala ithe vidhi nahi ra. In doing it in this manner, all will reach perfection. Always chant. There is no other prescription. CB 23rd February 1978. This verse contains revelatory information. We read, "In doing it in this manner, all will reach perfection." But what must be done? The previous verse states, "Chant this mantra according to a prescribed number." And it continues, "There is no other prescription." What is the prescription? Chant this mantra according to a prescribed number. As we can see through an analytic study, the text demonstrates that Sri Gauranga taught chanting the Mahamantra with a prescribed number, that the Mahamantra is a mantra that is to be chanted exclusively in japa. Dasapnca mili nija dreet vasikratana karha sab hteli. 5 or 10 people can sit together in a house and do kirtan. CB 23rd February 1979. In order to be even more specific, Sri Gauranga indicates what kirtan can be sung. Harai Namakaye Divya Nama Gopa Govinda Arame Am Dusdana. They should sing, Harai Namha Krishnayadvaya Namha Gopala Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudana. Mahamantra.info. The original text does not list the Mahamantra, but the popular Hari Harai Namha, Kirtan. This idea inserted between the lines in continuous form is the reason why hundreds of bhaktas think that Sri Gauranga taught and sang the Mahamantra in Kirtan, but nothing could be further from the truth. beyond personal or institutional interpretation, or the interpretation of gurus. We should bind ourselves to the transparency of the writings given to us by the eternal associates of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In the cited verses we can understand 108% that Sri Gauranga doesn't teach the Mahamantra as Kirtan, but in giving it with the prescription, chant this mantra according to a prescribed number. It is clear that the Mahamantra is exclusively for japa. Surely ideas can arise such as, Sri Chaitanya sang the Mahamantra in Kirtan from town to town. But this is not even a half-truth, since we can study the verses that speak of the Kirtan of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, including his songs, his associates, and his instructions. Investigating this verse, I found a popular translation which offers a distorted view which leads to obvious confusion and opposite conclusions. I cite the text here. Incorrect translation. All the devotees sang this popular song along with the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. Harai Nama. Kayadavya Nama Gopa Govinda Arame Amadustana. CB 23rd February 1980. Sri Gauranga and the Mahamantra. There are a great number of authentic verses indicating what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu actually did. Regardless of theological opinions, the analytic study of the verses shows us the answer. We will cite crucial verses that shed light on this topic. The people of the city by the order of the Lord began to chant from house to house. CC 17 January 121. I found another erroneous translation. Studying the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Swami Bhaktivedanta, the Lord ordered that all the citizens of Navadvipa sing the Hare Krishna mantra, and all in every house began Sankirtan with regularity. Mahamantra. Info. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra aloud. The holy name dances on his tongue, while he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful, knotted cord in his refulgent right hand. His eyes are large and his arms long. They bend as he carries out his pastimes, reaching his knees. Will he ever again cross the path of my eyes? If we compare the first text, which is a word-for-word translation from the Bengali, with the second, which is a translation done by Swami Bhaktivedanta, we can see again a biased translation, which aims to incline the students toward ideas that are not present in the original text. Sri Gauranga did not order the singing of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he indicated clearly the singing of Harai Namaka Idavya Nama Gopa Govinda Aramir Madhusdana. Why did Sri Gauranga not say in any verse, sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? The answer is simple. The Mahamantra is exclusively for japa. Faced with this question, and in order to assuage all doubts, we can also study how the same Sri Gauranga acted in regard to the Mahamantra. We cite Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. Liber Ksnetya Sfuri Tarasno Namagan Kritagranthi Shreni Subgakati Sutrojwalakarah Vislakso Dirgarglayugla Khilasita Bujasa Chatne Kimi Punar API Dasa Yasiti Padam. Srila Rupa Goswami, Pratma Chatnistaka. 5. Here Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, who was directly instructed by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and who also is an eternal associate for Sri Gauranga and eternal inhabitant of the Nitya Leela Sri Vrindavan Dham, explicitly writes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants the Hare Krishna mantra aloud, and adds, he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful, knotted cord. It is marvelous to see the result of the instructions of Sri Gauranga and his actions. Even when he feels great spiritual ecstasy, he still keeps the count of the number of Mahamantras that he is chanting. It is important to highlight that mantras have 3 forms of being chanted. Mahamantra.info. The 3 forms of chanting a mantra in the texts. Information is found on how one should chant a mantra. Each mantra has a specific formula for being chanted, repetitions, direction towards which a sadhaka should sit to chant it, the day of the week, the time of day, etc. In the case of the Mahamantra, the only prescription is to maintain the count of the repetitions. This is the instruction of Sriman Mahaprabhu, as we have seen in the previous pages. Additionally, Sri Gauranga indicated a prescribed number, and there is no other regulation. The instructions of Brahmadev, the Puranas, even if they are aligned with the words of Sri Gauranga, in some form and with infinite respect should be set aside. The Praman of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas is Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is above all law and scripture. Obviously, Sri Gauranga does not violate any Vedic mandate. He himself sacrifices his life to follow the Vedic prescriptions in taking the sannyasa order, which he himself also renounces, laying aside his red saffron robes and putting on purple ones, in the process saying to Sri Nityanand Prabhu that taking up the sannyasa order is a mistake. He only took it up in the first place to have access to the highest circles of yogis and, socially respected, masters. It was a technique to obtain status and infiltrate the Harinam Sankirtan movement within the world of the spiritualists. We return to the Mahamantra and the forms of chanting a mantra. The use of the Mahamantra has 3 variations while chanting japa. The first form of chanting a mantra is Vachika. Vachika, this is the chanting of the mantra in japa and aloud. As in the verse that we cited, Sri Gouranga is chanting aloud while he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful, knotted cord. This technique of chanting the mantra is beneficial for all the surrounding living entities. Another example is of Sri Haridas Thakur Namachare. Sri Haridas Thakur Namachare Haritsakura Khara Adbhut Karita Tinalaka Eneme Taholaina Aptita. The 20th branch of the Chaitanya tree was Haridas Thakur. He was a marvelous person. He tended to chant the holy name of Krishna 300,000 times a day without fail. How do we know that Haridas Thakur, upon whom Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu bestowed the title, Master of the Holy Name, chanted 300,000 names? The obvious answer is that Sri Haridas Thakur counted all the recitations of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra exclusively in his japa. He showed by example the 3 forms of chanting the Mahamantra. Haridas Vachika chanting was shown in the following Leela, where a beautiful prostitute was sent to destroy the purity of Sri Haridas Thakur Namacharya, which the master of the holy name countered in spectacular fashion. Haritsa kahe, Tom karimu aggara sakhi eneme samti vat ene with macron hai maratvat tumi vasi. Suna eneme sakratana eneme samti hale karimu ye tomra mana. Haridas Thakur responded, I will accept this without fail, but you will have to wait until I have finished chanting the number of rounds I accustomed to chanting according to my counting. Until that time, please sit and listen to the chanting of the holy name. As soon as I finish, I will fulfill your desire. CC 1.3.114-115 important. When the word chant is used here in relation to a mantra, it does not refer exclusively to chanting or singing as in the case of a singer, audibly making melodies, but it refers to the recitation of a mantra. In the philosophical context, it is traditionally translated as the recitation of a mantra as a canticle. Eta suni. Seve vasi rahil kratana kare haritsa pratakla hail. On hearing this, the prostitute stayed sitting while Haridas Thakur chanted his prescribed number of rounds until daybreak. CC 1st March, 116 Twat Evasi, Suna eneme skratana eneme prahale, prahabe tomra mana. Please sit and listen to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra until I finish my usual chanting. Then your desire surely will be fulfilled. Mahamantra.info. In this manner, Sri Haridas Thakur shows by example, just like Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, that one cannot separate the Mahamantra from japa, just as Nita Gouranga and Radheshyam are joined to japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. The prostitute at the end of the story ends up becoming a great soul, devoted to the chanting of the Mahamantra in japa. The radical change in the life of this fortunate woman was due to the purity, practice, and chanting of japa of Sri Haridas Thakur Namachare. This is the great example of the power that Vachika Mahamantra chanting in japa has under the instruction of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. Tulasre TKV Namaskra Kari Diva Vasi Eneme Sune Bal Hari Hari. After offering obeisances to the Tulsi plant and to Haridas Thakura, she sat near the door. Hearing Haridas Thakur chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, she also began to chant, Oh my Lord Hari! Oh my Lord Hari! Koi eneme grahayagi kari ekaimesi, eidk with macron kariachi. Hela cee, I have promised to chant 10 million names in 1 month. I have made this vow, but it is coming to its conclusion. CC 1st March, 124. The woman surrenders to the feet of Sri Haridas Thakur, leaving behind all mundane attachments and accepting Harinam for the rest of her life as the greatest of treasure. The second form of chanting a mantra is Upamshu. Upamshu, this is the repetition of the mantra in a barely audible whisper, murmuring the mantra. This technique is applicable to all mantras as is explained in the Hari Bhakti Vilsa, which obviously also applies to the Mahamantra. The simplest way to chant a mantra is aloud, which is recommended for novice practitioners, so that all the cells of the physical body and the mind can be inundated with the powerful sound of the recited mantra. The chanting of the mantra in Upamshu elevates the power of the mantra by a factor of 10. The third form of chanting a mantra is Mansa. Mansa, chanting a mantra in Mansa refers to chanting it mentally, without sound. According to all the sampradayas, the texts and yogic schools, Mansa chant is the best and most powerful way to chant a mantra. This system magnifies the power of the mantra by a factor of 100. If Haridas Thakur chanted 300,000 Harinamas a day, these names would be divided in three. The first 100,000 names would be chanted in Vachika, the second 100,000 in Upashmo, and the last 100,000 holy names would be chanted in Mansa or in Mansika manner. We can imagine the power that his japa sadhana of the Mahamantra generated when he reached the Mansika platform. Actually, I don't think we can even imagine it. In appreciating the marvelous Leela of Sri Haridas Thakur Namacharya, we see that his chanting of the Mahamantra was always in japa. The texts describe Haridas Thakur's practice, and they tell how he would forego eating in order to complete his japa of the Mahamantra. Even Sri Gouranga himself asked that he lower the number of repetitions due to his advanced age. Of his 24 hours, Sri Haridas only devoted a couple to his maintenance, eating and sleeping the bare minimum that no normal human being would be able to maintain throughout their life. We should remember that Sri Haridas Thakur was not an ordinary man, so his practice was not ordinary either. He was called the master of the holy name, and his practice consisted of 108% japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram, and not Mahamantra Kirtan. This was the practice of the associates of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, as shown throughout this study. Returning to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we find that all the biographies and the verses on the Mahamantra indicate that he was counting constantly. There is not any verse in all the Shastra where Sri Gouranga is singing the Mahamantra in Kirtan. His chanting aloud is Vachika Japa. He is not singing the Mahamantra accompanied by musical instruments, but is rather doing Japa aloud in Vachika. In the Chaitanya Chandramrita, the great Paramananda Saraswati writes, to count the number of the holy names Hare Krishna that he revealed for the welfare of humanity, the Lord makes cloth knots in his belt, while his hands tremble in extreme prema and his face is bathed in tears. Chaitanya Chandramrita 16. In this beautiful verse, Srila Paramananda Saraswati says that Sri Gouranga experienced a great prema while chanting the Mahamantra, while he made knots of cloth in his belt. This is a cloth that is worn traditionally in India underneath the dhoti, and is the part that ties the kaupin at waist level. When I met Sri Braj Gopal Agrawal in Sri Dham Vrindavan, the wise elder writer and disciple of Siddh Mahatma Sri Gouranga Das Babaji Maharaj, the perfect revered Vaishnava of Vrindavan, who himself was the disciple of Siddh Mahapurush Sri Radharman Charan Das Dev, explained to me that this verse as well as Srila Rupa Goswami's, he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful, knotted cord, refer to Sri Gouranga wearing a clean kati dur, which is used to tie knots while counting the repetitions of the Mahamantra. Mahamantra.info. I wish to add that Srila Paramananda Saraswati comments that in Puri Dham Sri Gouranga also renounced his saffron robes and what they symbolized and dressed in purple. I cite the verse, we are all familiar with the picture of Sri Chaitanya wearing a sikha, a Brahman thread, saffron cloth and dancing and singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the scriptures tell a different story. For one thing, sannyasis do not wear a Brahman thread, as according to Shastra a sannyasi renounces this material world and all its laws. This includes Varnashrama and its divisions of Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahman. Thus, wearing a Brahman thread would make no sense, as sannyasis renounce these material caste divisions. Sri Gouranga himself explains his position in the following verse. Naha vipro nasiye narapatir npi vaishyo nadaro naha varnasiye ghapatir no vanasto yatir viyevit macron kintu prodhyanni khila Paramananda prantbadar gop bhartu parakamlaya dsa dsndsa. I am not a Brahman, or a Kshatriya, or a Vaishya, or a Shudra. I am not a Brahmachari, a head of family, a Vanprastha, or a sannyasi. I self-identify only as a servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the sustainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar and the cause of transcendental universal well-being. He always exists in splendor. CC Madhya 13.80. He has renounced his saffron robes and now wears purple ones. Sri Chaitanya Chandramrita 79 Mantra. In Hari Bhakti Vilsa it's possible to find detractors against the idea that the Mahamantra should only be chanted in japa who say that the Mahamantra isn't a mantra but Harinam. This is a completely invalid argument, as the Mahamantra appears in the Vedic texts. What's more, it's called Mahamantra for a reason. Is it the case that the great sages of the universe who count Brahma and Narada Muni in their number don't know the difference between a mantra and the name of Hari? What sort of nonsense is it to think one can understand things better than Narada Muni, the universal teacher, or Brahma, the architect of the universe and narrator of the Vedas. Brahmadev teaches this Mahamantra to Narada Muni, his children, and devotees. The instruction was always the same: meditate on this mantra and you will reach perfection. Sri Brahma didn't tell them to sing this mantra in Kirtan, and they would become perfect. The Mahamantra is a mantra due to its name, Vedic origin, and use. Even so, there will always be those who want to twist the Shastra to bring out from it conclusions to their own liking. Apropos of the chanting of the mantra in Japa, Srila Sanatan Das Goswami writes in his Hari Bhakti Vilsa, which is like a law book for the Vashva, Anguli agresu yajaptam meru langane asankhyatam siye yajaptam tat sarvam nishvalam bhavet. While you speak, walk, sleep, dream, or think of any object, have hunger or stretch, have hiccups, are mentally disturbed. In this condition, if anyone chants japa, he does not receive the perfection of chanting. Thus, one should strive to abandon all these functions in order to chant properly. Hari Bhakti Vilsa 17, 132-133 Yaduchanika Swariti Spasta Savdavd Aksarah Mantram Acharid Vyaktam Japa Yagya Savachika Sanar Ucharai Mantram ICD Osthoprakalate Kinsit Savdam Swayam Vidyad Upansu Sajapa Samta Japa Yagya comes in 3 types. Please listen. To chant with audible vibration, to chant murmuring, or to chant inside the mind. Of these 3 types of chanting, one is progressively better than the other. Hari Bhakti Vilsa 17. 156-157. One should regularly chant, according to one's capacity, a set number of rounds each day. Hari Bhakti Vilsa 17.199. Basing ourselves in the transcendental instruction written by Sri Sanatan Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami in the Sri Hari Bhakti Vilsa, we see that the chanting of japa has a particular form, and this is complete concentration on the mantra, while talking, walking. If someone chants japa, they do not receive the perfection of chanting. This indicates clearly that the chanting of a mantra cannot be done as a kirtan, or the power of the mantra is diminished. This is a possible explanation as to why many practitioners feel that they haven't achieved anything in their chanting of the Mahamantra after years of practice, and they fall on the spiritual path. Their practice has been flawed, and thus they don't have any success. This is what Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu states. The Lord continued, "This is the Mahamantra. Go and chant this mantra according to a prescribed number. In doing this, all will achieve all perfection. Always chant. There is no other prescription." CB 23rd February, 1978. In these verses Sriman Mahaprabhu reveals the method, process, and result. If our Supreme Guru Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu gives us an instruction this precise, doing the opposite of the instruction of God will mean that we will only receive the opposite result. In other words, we will go step by step towards failure. Another intimate associate of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu is Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who on the topic of Sri Gouranga's practice and the Mahamantra writes, Hare Krishna Rama Nam Gana Dana Karinim Shok Moha Lobha Tapa Sarv Vigna Nasinim Pada Padma Lubdha Bhakta Vranda Bhakti Dainim Gaura Murte Masu Naumi Nam Sutradharinim. He sings the holy names Hare, Krishna, Rama, and destroys all obstacles such as sadness, illusion, greed, and suffering. He renders devotional service to Lord Krishna for the multitude of devotees, who are anxious for refuge at his lotus feet. I prostrate myself quickly to offer my obeisances to the Lord in his golden form, who holds a strand of beads for counting in meditation. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Susloka Shatkam, 23. In verse 23 of the Susloka Shatkam, again we find evidence of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu when it comes to the Mahamantra, mainly that he holds a strand of beads for counting in meditation. This indicates that Sri Gouranga's chanting of the Mahamantra was always done in japa and not in kirtan. My dear reader, on this very page I believe you have clear proof that the Mahamantra is exclusively for japa and not for kirtan. We have seen examples of Sri Gouranga, and we have studied his instructions, and it is unnecessary and almost ridiculous to have to offer any more evidence. But for the pleasure and edification of the more intellectually inclined, what I have presented here is but the tip of the iceberg. Mahamantra Kirtan. No verse prohibits it. The opposing opinion to the one we are presenting in this text is that the Mahamantra can be sung in Kirtan. This opinion falls apart when we point out that there is no text that supports this. But the inevitable response is that there is no text that prohibits it. Honestly, I ask you if this is a valid defense in, say, a court of law? Is it valid at all? Surprisingly, From the other side, this is the only evidence for those who believe that the Mahamantra can be sung in Kirtan, along with a couple of doctored and contrived interpretations from Shastra, while the evidence of the Mahamantra being only for japa is overwhelming. All of Gauriya Siddhant states it over and over again, and even then, there are those who would deny it. What else are we to expect in Kali Yuga? If only to totally destroy the demon of illusion, we will continue to bring forward more authoritative Gauriya Vaishnav verses, not ones coming from this guru or that one, but from the eternal luminaries of Gauriya Vaishnavism before the creation of some particular math or philosophical school. This is the Mahamantra of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. One very important detail is how all the acharyas are emphasizing that Sri Gouranga is chanting japa. Would it not be enough to just say he's chanting the Mahamantra? Lokana Dasa Thakura smiling Prabhu said to all the bhaktas, "Spread this holy name of mine, from house to house. All people, young and old, who live in Navadvipa, Chandalas, poor people, honest as well as criminals alike. Teach them all the holy name along with the knots. Then all will cross beyond mundane existence." Lokana Dasa Thakura, Chaitanya Mangala Raghunath Dasa Goswami the Master, having accepted all the people of Gaura as his own, teaches them as a father. Or, repeat the names, Hare Krishna, through the practice of counting them. Will that son of Sachi ever return before the path of my eyes? Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Chaitanyashtaka. 5 In these verses of adoration for Sri Gauranga, and in the authorized biographies, it is mentioned that he is counting the Mahamantra in japa. I repeat, there is not one verse that states that he was chanting the Mahamantra in Kirtan. My question is, why would someone begin teaching against Sri Gauranga's practice, and that of the acharyas who dedicated their lives to the mission of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu? Another verse from Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati confirms this. Prabodhananda Saraswati has elevated the name of Sri Gaurhari as the chanter of the Mahamantra while counting, when he extends his blessings to the people of the world. As his hand trembles with divine love, he makes knots in the band around his waist in order to count while he repeats the names, Hare Krishna, which are his own names that bless the world. His face wet with tears, he longs to see Jagannath, who is his own self. Thus, he comes and goes from the temple, elevating all who see him. May the golden-bodied Hari protect you. Mahamantra.info The Shastra is replete with evidence concerning the Mahamantra and its use. An honest seeker would not find proof indicating that the Mahamantra should be sung in Kirtan. Instead, they would encounter more verses explaining the connection between japa and the repetitions of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Having explained all this, I believe it is evident that what is stated in this text is correct. If there were verses that say otherwise, I would obviously cite them in this study, but they are not found in Gauriya Siddhant. Among the many leelas we could study, one in particular that I would like to share involves Vaninatha, a close servant of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, who is arrested and put in mortal danger. Sri Gauranga sends a messenger to inquire about his condition. The following verses reveal the marvelous attitude that a perfect devotee of Sri Gauranga possesses. All the acharyas venerate Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur for being the first biographer of Sri Gauranga. In his Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, which is often highly praised by Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj in his immortal work, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur writes, "All glories to Chaitanya Chandra, who is non-different from Lord Murari, who is the new lamp of Navadvipa, who is like a lion without equal in subjugating the atheists appearing as elephants, and who holds a cord for counting his own names, Hare Krishna, while he chants." CB 2.5.1 Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the messenger, what was Vaninatha doing when he was arrested and taken to that place? CC Antya Leela 9.55 The messenger answered, free from all fear, he repeated without ceasing the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. CC Antya Leela 9.56 He counted his prayers with the fingers of his 2 hands, and every time he completed 1,000 repetitions, he made a mark on his body. CC Antya Leela 9.57 Upon hearing this, the Lord felt quite pleased. Who can understand the mercy of the Lord for his devotee? Mahamantra.info Sankhya Purvakan Magananati Bhi Kalvasni Krito Nidrahara Vihar Kadi Vijito Ketintadino Siye Yau Radha Krishna Gunasmrita Madhuramanandena Samohito Vande Rupasanatno Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalko. Now think about yourself. If the police of a tyrannical government who opposed your philosophy and spirituality arrested you, you would be aware that your life is in their hands. The crime is the public adoration of the names of God. Being under arrest, in prison, what would you do? Surely you would not make waves, looking for the possibility that they might free you. You wouldn't start chanting even more loudly the Mahamantra, not to speak of marking your body in order to keep the count of the number of your prayers. This would be a proof of your unbreakable faith in Shriman Mahaprabhu. The next logical question would be, if Kirtan of the Mahamantra and Japa of the Mahamantra are both permitted, why didn't Vaninatha simply chant the Mahamantra without counting, in order to not draw the attention of those demonic police? The answer is simple. Sri Gouranga instructs the Mahamantra Japa. An alternative interpretation to his sacred instructions did not exist. This is precisely what all of us should do, without fear, to chant the Mahamantra only in Japa just as Sri Gouranga taught, and how he chanted in his own life in the terrestrial Gaura Leela. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, praise be unto Rupa and Sanatan, the 2 Raghunathas, Sri Jiva and Gopala, who have filled their lives with obeisances and with the repetitions of the holy names while counting. They conquered sleep, food, idle pleasures, and were extremely humble. They were filled with happiness at the remembrance of the sweetness of Radha and Krishna. Srinivasa Acharya, Sri Sri Shad Goswami Ashtaka. 6. Seeing that Srinivas Acharya himself is the one explaining the Mahamantra of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, is there any doubt as to their practice and the importance of repeating the Mahamantra in Japa? His verse doesn't say that they also sang the Mahamantra in Kirtan, because those verses don't exist in Shastra. Why is it so important to highlight the use of counting? Who filled their lives with obeisances and with the repetitions of the holy names while counting? Could this revealing verse leave any room for doubt? I believe that this is impossible, except if one wants to doubt the obvious. A blind man could argue with the whole world about the sun not existing. Again, we see here an emphasis that the Mahamantra is repeated in Japa exclusively. Some try with great difficulty to refute the idea that the Mahamantra should only be counted in Japa and not in Kirtan. Mahamantra.info. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra aloud. The holy name dances on his tongue, while he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful, knotted cord in his refulgent right hand. His eyes are large and his arms long. They bend as he carries out his VC. In the case of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the words, Ene with Macron, Eme with Macrongna, which refer to chanting aloud, and along with it is mentioned that they keep the count of their recitations. In this verse the Goswamis of Vrindavan, as in the verses of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, are chanting aloud, while counting. The word counting in both passages is Sakhi, Sankhya Purva Kanamagana. Sankhya translates in Sanskrit as to number. Further, there are no verses that indicate that some of them chanted the Mahamantra in Kirtan. Instead, they do Harinam Kirtan as instructed by Sri Gouranga, as we cite here in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata and Srila Rupa Goswami. They should sing, Harai Namaka Yedavya Nama Gopa Govinda Aramaya Madhusdana. CB 23rd February, 1980. Lieber Ksnetya Kesfuritarasno, Namaganna. Kartagranthi Shreni Subgakati Sutrojwalakarah Vislakso Dirghar Glayugla Khilasita Bujasa Chaitanya Kimi Punar API Dasa Yasiti Padam. Pastimes. Reaching his knees. Will he ever again cross the path of my eyes? Srila Rupa Goswami, Prathma Chaitanyastaka. 5 Mahamantra Diksha. The following paragraph is from the Sri Prema Vilsa by Nityanand Das. Here we find the divine revelation of how the Goswamis of Vrindavan gave the Mahamantra Hare Krishna as a Diksha mantra and instructed how to employ this powerful mantra. Sri Rupa Goswami Maha Mantra Diksha to Sri Jiva Goswami. Sri Rupa Goswami gave Harinam initiation to Sri Rupa Goswami, teaching him to abandon all tendencies towards karma and janana, and to accept Sri Krishna Chaitanya as the only Guru. He taught that all Vaishnavas who wish to obtain the mercy of Sri Chaitanya should chant Harinam with regularity. If a devotee can complete a lakh of Harinam on a Nam Mala, he will achieve the feat of Sri Mahamantra.info. Here Sri Narottama Das Thakur is strictly following the instructions that Sri Rupa Goswami gave to Sri Jiva Goswami, who was accepted as a Shiksha Guru by Sri Narottama Das Thakur, who had taken Diksha from Srila Loknath Prabhu. Srila Loknath Das is counted among the Goswamis of Vrindavan, even though normally he is not named, due to his request to remain in anonymity due to his humility. With this, we see again that the Goswamis of Vrindavan and their disciples chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Japa and not in Kirtan, and that the Mahamantra was transmitted as a Diksha mantra. This is what Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityanand Prabhu, and their intimate associates the Pacha Tattva did. We cited Srinivas Acharya above teaching the chanting of the Mahamantra in Japa, as well as the instruction where he affirmatively said, "This is the Mahamantra. Go all of you and chant this mantra according to a prescribed number." Krishna. He explained that a devotee should carefully chant their rounds, touching the forehead with the mala when completing each round. Here Sri Rupa Goswami is teaching Mahamantra Gyan to Sri Jiva Goswami. He is stating that when one chants 100,000 repetitions on the Japa Mala daily, one achieves Krishna. In reciting the Mahamantra, one should touch the forehead with the mala after each round, and above all, you should recite the Mahamantra with much attention. Are these possible indications of Kirtan? No. This explanation is called Mantra Gyan, and the Guru gives it in Diksha as a guide to the use of the mantra. As we see here, the Mahamantra has a formal guide, Gyan. All that is described in the Sri Prema Vilsa corresponds to the instructions given in bestowing Mantra Diksha. There is no mention of Kirtan of the Mahamantra in the text. Sri Narottama Das Thakur. We also find the divine form in which Sri Narottama Das Thakur recite the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A year passed of Narottama repeating the holy name. During that time, he chanted day and night. He chanted 200,000 names, sitting in a solitary place. He repeated the holy names while counting, sitting and awake throughout the night. At this point we have said everything, and the conclusion is self-evident. If someone were to have at least the same number of verses proving the contrary to what this work is stating, I would happily rethink all the information presented here for the sake of the original mission of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. But that information does not exist in Gauriya Shastra, and the proofs for it have been forged, or are the result of omitting information, or twisting the words of the Acharyas. Mahamantra.info Sanskrit. Definition. Praise. Glorification. This word is translated commonly as singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the streets, which is incorrect. Traditionally, to sing Harinam with musical instruments in the street is called Nagra Kirtan and not Sankirtan. Sankirtan is to adore the names of Hari, which can be done when doing japa or singing a bhajan in a house or ashram. Again, this is not a synonym, nor does it have any relation to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Haridas Thakur, Namacharya, says, Sakhi Nam Sakratana. I am counting the names. This is my Sankirtan, the praising of God's names. This serves as evidence that Sankirtan is not chanting all together. Harinam, Sankirtan, Kirtan. According to this advanced study, we demonstrate that the problem of bad interpretation is not always due to the biased intentions of translators and preachers, but the key is in the understanding of the words Harinam, Sankirtan, and Kirtan. To shed light on this, we should explore the meaning of each of their words and their roots. Harinam Sanskrit F. Noun, masculine. Definition, the name of God, the story of Vishnu. In the definition of the word Harinam, we understand that it does not refer to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but to all the names of Hari. Thus, Govinda, Gopal, Radharman, Gopinath, Vishnu, Narayan, Mukunda, etc. are names of Hari and not part of the Mahamantra. The Mahamantra is not a synonym for Harinam, but forms part of the names of Hari, Harinam. The following definition is a form of inducing the student to believe in something that isn't. Harinam refers to the names of Sri Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sankirtan Kirtan Sanskrit. Generally, this means telling, narrating, describing, recounting, informing. The Sanskrit root of Kirtan is Kurt. Kurt in this context means mention, recount, name, call, recite, repeat, relate, declare, communicate, commemorate, celebrate, praise, glorify. In no Sanskrit dictionary do we find the words Hare Krishna or Mahamantra. Kirtan is not a synonym for the Mahamantra. In different spiritual schools of India, within the 4 sampradayas and hundreds of parivars, we hear kirtans in different forms. For example, Bhaja Guru Gaurang Radha Govinda Brahma Narayana Hare Krishna Rama, Jai Jai Radha Vallabh Shri Harivansh Jai Jai Shri Vrindavan Shri Vanchand, Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radharman Hari Govinda Jai Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Hare Krishna Hare Rama Shri Radhe Govinda. Vaheguru. Radhe Krishna Radhe Krishna. Krishna Krishna Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam. Shyam Shyam Radhe Radhe. Bhaj Naitega Radhe Shyam Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. The list would be interminable if we take every spiritual school in India into consideration. Kirtan is not a synonym for the Mahamantra. This misinterpretation should be corrected in our vocabulary. In order to see things as they really are and to develop our sadhana according to the instructions of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, and in this way achieve all perfection. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his travels in southern India is described thus: Matta Sihapriya Prabhu Karil Gamana Premviya Kari, Eneme Sakratana like a crazed lion. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu undertook his tour, full of ecstatic love and doing Sankirtan, chanting the names of Hari. Khang, 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 Hika, Khang, 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 Hika, Khang, 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 Raka Eme with macronemka. Khang, 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 Fi Eme with macronem. Oh Lord Krishna, protect me and be with me. He also chanted, Arame, Ragava, Arame, Ragava, Arame, Ragava, Raka Eme with macronemka. Keswa, Khang, Keswa, Khang, Keswa, Pahi Mama. Oh Lord Rama, descendant of King Raghu, please protect me. Oh Krishna, oh Keshava, killer of the Keshi demon, please be with me. CC Madhya 7.96 EI Shloka Pai. Pate Kalil Gaurhari Loka Dekhi. Mahamantra.info Period 3. Morning pastimes. When the morning comes, the Lord wakes up and stretches. Then he washes his lotus face with sweetly perfumed water. He meets with his devotees, who like very much to sing Sri Hari Nam Kirtana. He personally tastes the chanting of the holy names over and over again. Thus, he enjoys, sometimes in the houses of various devotees and sometimes in his own house. It is in this manner that he augments the ecstatic pleasure of all the people of Navadvipa to great heights. I meditate on the daily pastimes of Sri Gaurachandra. Pate kahe, Bala, Hari, Hari, singing this verse, Gaur Hari, went on his way. No sooner did he see someone that he pleaded with him to chant, Hari, Hari. CC Madhya 7.97 below, we will cite verses extracted from the writings that describe the divine qualities of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. Each verse explains Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu's chanting. Those who write these transcendental works are the luminaries of Gauriya Vaishnav philosophy. Purvahne Sainothita Supaisa Prakshilya Vaktrambujam Bhakta Shriharin Kirtan Parah Sardham Swayam Kirtyan Bhaknam Bhavane. Paisiye Swabhavane Kridan Rinam Vardhaitete Anandam Puravasinam Ya Urudha Tam Gauram Adhyemi Aham. Stavam Rata Lahri. Srila Viswanatha Kakravati Thakura. 5 Swarupa Harin Yaj Jagad Agoshim Tina Kimna Vakaitam AP Athashkam Imam Shivanandajam Iti Swaparalhanai Shishum Achikrad Yakavim Virajta Chiraya Me Hridi Sagorakandra Prabhu Swarupa. Damodra. I made the entire universe chant the name of Hari. But why could I not make this son of Sivananda Sena chant? In pronouncing these words, Gaurachandra transformed that child into a great poet. May Gaurachandra shine eternally in my heart. Sri Mahaprabhu Rastakam. Srila Viswanatha Kakravati Thakura. 4 Ha Kim Idam Usyate Patha Pathatra Krishna Muhar Veena Tam Iha Sadutam Dadhati Kim Buddha Dhatava Prasidh Iha Varna Sankti Tasmyagam Naika Swanamni Yad Iti Brivan Vijite Sachi Nandana. One time, during the class, Lord Gouranga interrupted a student and asked him, Mahamantra. Info. Shriman Mahaprabhur Asta Kalya Leela Smaran Mangala Stotram. Srila Viswanatha Kakravati Thakura. 9 What are you saying? In place of those verbs, you should repeat the name of Krishna constantly, the most famous in all the worlds according to the Vedas. O students, without Krishna, what benefit can verbs have? All glories to Sri Gouranga, the son of Sachi Devi, who chants his own holy name, Sri Sachinandana Vidyashtkam, Srila Viswanatha Kakravati Thakura. 3 Ya Shrivasa Grihe Pradoshasmai Hy Advachandra Dibi Sawai Bhaktagnai Samam Harikthapiyusham Aswadin Premanandas Makulash Chachalari Sankirtane Lampatah Kartum Kirtanam Urdhvam Udyamaparastam Gauram Adhyemi Aham. Period 7. Evening pastimes. At sundown, the Lord goes to the house of Shrivasa Pandita, accompanied by Srila Advachandra and other beloved associates. A multitude of devotees also come. He samples and tastes the nectar of the themes related to Lord Hari, and his mind is agitated with ecstasy of pure love of God. Then, becoming anxious to taste the congregational signing of the holy names of the Lord, the shlok reads, Atam Kirtanam Urdvam. The word Sankirtan is not used as congregational chanting. He orchestrates the execution of Kirtan intensely joyous to reach the summit of glorification of the holy names. Thus, I meditate on the daily pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundara. Bahula Chikurabandha Snigdha Mugdha Prabandha Prasara Purapurandari Chitta Sandana Mantri Vihita Vividha Vasa Diotitasi Sadesas Furtu Hridi Natendra Sri Navadvipakandara. My Lord Chaitanya appears in my heart, the moon of Navadvipa and the king of dancers. His hair is beautiful and at the same time enchanting. Singing the morning and evening hymns, he has captured the mind of all Navadvipa. Beautifully dressed, he has filled all Bengal with splendor. Sri Navadvipakandra, Stavaraja, Srila Raghunandana Thakura, to Swagatra Pulka Lokana Purnam Jiva Dayamaya Tapavidirnam Sankhyajalapati Nam Sahasre Shuddha Kanka Jaya Gaura Namaste. His hair bristles and his eyes are full of tears while Mahamantra. Info he is absorbed in devotion to Sri Hari. He chants the names of Hari, and while chanting, he counts the holy names with his fingers. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He always has tears of love flowing from his eyes. I bow unto Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi, keeping count of thousands of holy names. In order to save souls, you become very merciful. Jaya Gaura, pure and golden, obeisances to you. Sri Gauranshtakam, Srila Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya. To Arunambadaracha Polam Induvinindithanaka Kayarukiranjalpitani Jagunanma Vinodam. He wears clothing the color of the eastern sky at dawn, and his beautiful cheeks shine with the same splendor. The nails of his hands and of his toes have the same pleasing hue of the moon shining in the sky. His enjoyment and pleasure consist in discussions and glorification of his own marvelous qualities and names. I offer my obeisances to the son of Mother Sachi, Sri Sachitanayashtakam, Srila Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya. 3 Hari Bhaktiparam Harin Madaram Karajapyakaram Harin Maparam Naine Satatam Pranishrudaram Pranamami Sachi Suta Gauravaram. Sri Shachisutstakam, Srila Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya. 3 Nijtve Gauliya Jagti Parigrihya Prabhur Iman Hare Krishnete Evam Ganna Vidina Kirteta Bho Iti Prayam Shiksham Janka Iva Tebhya Paridishan Sachi Sunuh Kimi Naina Sarnin Yasiti Punah. Will that son of Sachi, who, accepting the people of Bengal as his own and teaching them like a father, saying, please chant the Hare Krishna mantra according to a prescribed number, cross the path of my eyes again. Sri Sachusainvashtakam, Srila Raghunath Dasa Goswami. 5 Karo Bhoros Sudirgaksha Kampa Baru Chakshunasika Namagranthi Namasankhya Bhavabadhastrahara Sri Gaurang, whose eyebrows are beautifully extended, whose eyes, eyebrows and nose Mahamantra. Info. One of my greatest questions when faced with the current Gauliya Vaishnav movement and the Western reform known as the Hare Krishna movement is why there are no Siddh Mahatmas or perfected Vaishnavas here in the present as in centuries past. We have devotees who are very learned, like philosophers or a Christian who can cite every biblical passage and give exegesis of it from memory. We have spiritual masters who have thousands of followers, etc. But I have never seen one example of someone who manifests Sattvika Bhav from merely hearing or pronouncing the name of Krishna. Nor have I seen spiritual masters who can alter concrete reality, make trees dance or animals sing, or who can bring the dead back to life like Sri Chaitanya or Sri Radharman Das Dev through their spiritual powers, which are the result of their absolute perfection in bhakti. Studying the biographies of Sri Manima, Sri Bijoy Krishna Goswami, Sri Jagtabandhu Prabhu, Sri Siddh Krishna Das of Govardhan, Sri Ramdas Babaji Maharaj, Sri Radharman Das Dev, among other Gaudiya heroes and heroines, attests to the truth of my statements. Exhibit graceful movements. He is the protector of the holy name recited while counting. He liberates the living entities from the bonds of mundane existence, destroying the 3 types of afflictions. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Kandrasya Sahesranam Stotram, Sri Kavi Karnapura. For the perfection of Bhakti the Siddhis have been defiled by followers who do not know the power of the holy name. These Siddhis were present in masters such as Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Sri Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who are known in the Western world. All the direct associates of Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu were Siddhs, who possessed Siddhis thanks to the tremendous power of the holy name. All these masters developed a level of bhakti so profound that all their spiritual powers and virtues came to them in torrents by default. Today there is not a master who can perform miracles such as raising the dead, something that Sri Radharman Charan Das Dev demonstrated on many occasions. But instead we have frauds in the style of Sai Baba. I ask myself daily, where are the spiritual masters on that level? They seem to have disappeared, or they went extinct. From 1920 onward or thereabouts, all that came to an end. Coincidentally, the singing of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Kirtan also started around that time, just as the Siddh Mahatmas became extinct. Is there a connection between these two phenomena? Honestly, I think so, and perhaps a strong one. Sri Chandan Goswami of Sri Sri Radharman Mandir, when I visited him in Sri Dham Vrindavan, confirmed my conclusion saying, a couple of decades ago you would not hear the Mahamantra sung in ashrams or in the ancestral temples of India. A similar idea came out in a lecture given by Narsimha Maharaj from Gaudiya Math, where he himself said to his followers, before Mahamantra.info, it is well known that the disciple has the divine protection of Sri Guru, but he loses the protective mantle of Sri Guru when he acts according to his own devices or in a manner contradicting Sri Guru's command. Are we in agreement here? Now, if we analyze the text presented here that has only a sample of the verses and citations from Gaudiya Vaishnav Shastra that demonstrate that the Mahamantra is for Japa and not Kirtan, we understand that the instruction of the original Guru Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu is being distorted when the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is chanted without counting. The result is that the sadhaka does not have the protection of Jagat Guru Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu. Even if one has the protection of his Guru singing Hare Krishna Kirtan, that Guru does not have the protection of Sri Gouranga when following a philosophy opposed to the instruction of the Kali Yuga avatar. And thus one does not obtain the perfected result either. Bhakta Siddhanta. Nobody did Hare Krishna Kirtan. Those Gaudiya Babajis only did Hare Krishna Japa. Protection of the Guru. Whoever follows the instruction of Narayana finds protection. The result of this lack of protection due to the offense of changing the instructions of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu can be seen perhaps in the fights between various Gaudiya Vaishnav spiritual lines, the disinterest in Leela Smarnam but great interest in territorial expansion, fundraising, and recruiting followers at the global level, the resurgence of Sahjiyas, the acceptance of drugs and other activities prohibited by Shastra with the end of increasing the bottom line, and other illicit activities are also results we see currently. To preach the glories of the holy name to a faithless person Apardha. Number 9 Srila Jiva Goswami clearly explains that the offense to Harinam manifests in 5 kinds of distorted nature within sadhakas, resulting in what he terms the 5 spiritual disasters. In Bhakti Sandarbha, he outlines 5 significant effects of offensive chanting of the transcendental names of Sri Krishna: trickery, infidelity, absorption in mundane objects that erode faith, laxity in devotional service, and pride. If a sadhaka is experiencing any of these effects, it indicates they are committing offenses to Sri Krishna's name. 1. Twisted mind and heart. Offenders become warped in their interactions with others, showing disrespect towards Sri Hari, Sri Guru, and fellow devotees, and act deceitfully. As stated in the Skand Purana by Muni Parasra, twisted and deceptive people cannot obtain Govinda Bhakti or truly chant and remember Bhagwan. 2. Infidelity. Those who offend the Naam gradually lose faith in the glories of Krishna Bhakti and begin to entertain non-devotional, contradictory ideas. 3. Distraction. Naam Apardhis become engrossed in material pursuits, such as wealth and status, which undermines their faith in Krishna and Krishna Bhakti. 4. Weak in devotion. As a result of Naam Apardha, the devotion of the Apardhi diminishes, causing them to revert to sensory pleasures. 5. Pride. Offending Sri Naam Prabhu can lead to pride in one's service and devotional practices, further exacerbating offenses, including disrespect towards Vaishnavas. As the saying goes, pride precedes a fall. Sri Jiva Goswami. Bhakti Sandarbha. Why do so many Vaishnav aspirants fall into the pit of nescience after years of practice, and end up worse than they were when they first encountered the Hare Krishna movement? Why are all thinking of obtaining status and respect instead of becoming humbler than the grass, as Sriman Mahaprabhu taught? Why is there so much darkness in how brothers in the same spiritual schools treat each other? If we have the greatest of all the mantras that has been passed on to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He has promised that all of you will achieve perfection, why does that perfection not exist even in the greatest spiritual masters of our time? Kali Yuga does not enter the heart of anyone who surrenders to the feet of Sri Gauranga. To surrender means to follow his instructions. So why is there darkness in the practitioners of this age? For now, I sincerely think that the error lies in not following the eternal instruction of Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu without deviations. Mahamantra. For doing a comparison of religions and cultural visions, we can compare our taboos as Gauliya Vaishnavas with those of the Christians, which include not questioning the Bible, or of the Muslims who are forbidden to question the personal integrity of Muhammad, who married Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old, while he himself was around 54. Cultural taboos are a cancer that end up destroying all in their path, and toxic cult leaders hide behind them. The arguments presented here are completely sound due their vigorous support in the Shastra. If it were not so, I wouldn't have bothered spending hundreds of dollars traveling to do uncountable hours of research. None of the statements presented here are the result of manipulation of information that present an idea that is not backed up by Shastra. There are no misinterpretations or tenuous ideas. On the contrary, I have presented how neophytes have been induced to believe in things that simply do not exist. Everything has been presented literally as it appears in Shastra, and thus this material is worthy of being studied and analyzed. All that has been presented here is just the tip of the iceberg that I with my small amount of knowledge have been able to reveal, but with the generous help of linguists, official translators from Bengali and Sanskrit, which has given this work greater depth. If anyone feels motivated to help me in this mission, I ask that you contact me. Use your intelligence today. There is a pious fear of saying or speaking things that are considered taboo. Everything is cloaked under the black mantle of, that's an offense. A lie is an offense. Breaking one's spiritual vows is an offense. And to distort the scriptures to get followers more easily is an offense. It's an offense to hide texts to keep practitioners in ignorance, and thus, under one's control. Before God, I proclaim that this text is not written to insult, but to open the path of knowledge that has been hidden, misdirected, and not openly discussed. In conclusion, Krishna Leela is eternal and always evolving. The Krishna of yesterday is not the same as the one today, and today's Krishna is not the same as the one of tomorrow. The same is the case with Radhika and all the eternal associates of Nitya Vrindavan. All is an eternal evolution. Beauty and depth are in every moment greater in an earth of eternal time. The truth presented in this text in treating the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is one that is destined to evolve, since the Mahamantra contains the supreme names of Hari, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. The nature of the holy name is the same as the one who is named. Nam is non-different from Nami. With that foundation in the transcendental Tattva, we understand that all that is said when referring to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can change and obtain greater beauty and Mahamantra.info depth. As the author of this text, my depth of vision concerning the Mahamantra is also subject to this evolution. But it is always aligned with Shastra, for if this were not the case, it could not be called evolution but rather deviation or regression. All that is presented in this text is faithfully based in Shastra without deviations or sectarian interpretation. Shastra, as it is what we should study and follow, and in it alone should we place our faith. Here there is no fall down. If you are a warrior for truth, keep in mind that you will have to walk a path that is not paved with friends and easy applause. Our great hero Arjuna did not encounter a friendly world, full of music and flowers, but rather a harsh reality and hostile crowd. But a great hero did what he had to do, as he was not an inhabitant of the lower world but an eternal resident of the worlds above. Our course of action should be the same, for as the saying goes, better to be alone than in bad company. To seek friendship and family in philosophical or spiritual groups is a great danger, owing to cult leaders precisely giving this to their victims, a substitute family. We should not seek the truth to obtain material happiness in this world, even if it's disguised in white, saffron, black, or any other color. In mystical spirituality one does not seek the friendship of the world, but the truth. The truth is not the friend of the people, or of the majority, or of the crowd, but the truth keeps itself on its own platform, and in the heart of the truth is Swayam Bhagwan. The reason why the great masters of all ages withdraw from the world is to obtain the truth, or in other words, to obtain God. Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, his divine feet, were imprinted on the melted stone while Sri Gouranga, in transcendental ecstasy, enjoyed darshan of Sri Jagannath at the Jagannath Mandir in Puri. For 400 years, these impressions were completely ignored, and pilgrims walked over this image without having the slightest idea of what it was. Until Sri Radharman Das Dev saw them, and immediately understood what they were. He urgently requested that the authorities remove this piece of the floor, and place it in a special location for proper worship. From that moment on, and thanks to Bed Baba, the only image of Sriman Mahaprabhu's lotus feet is available in Puri Dham for those who can enter the Jagannath temple. These very lotus feet are the ones that danced and sang the names of Hari 500 years ago in all the sacred places of India. Thanks to this transcendental singing and dancing, all conditioned souls of the universe will be able to attain the highest spiritual goal. The image was entrusted to me by a Bengali devotee. Bhaj Naitega Radheshyam Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. This beautiful kirtan is a song that was manifested in a trance state, Samadhi, by Sri Radharman Das Dev, who was an incarnation of the boundless grace of Nityanand Prabhu and the Nitai Gaura Leela. Sri Radharman Das Dev, also known as Bed Baba, belongs to the eternal Nityanand Parivar and is highly respected in Navadvip, Puri, and Vrindavan. Additionally, he is possibly one of the largest branches of the Nityanand Parivar Gaudiya Vaishnav in India. The followers of Bed Baba strictly maintain the traditional form of sadhana as outlined in the Shastras and Granthas of the Purva Acharyas, just as it was practiced by the Goswamis of Vrindavan and taught by Sriman Mahaprabhu. The Harinam Bhaj Naitega Radheshyam Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram consists of the supreme names of Hari, refers to the inseparable Nityanand Ram, Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu, and his Leela. Radheshyam refers to the indivisible divine couple Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, with Shyam being Radha's favorite name of Krishna, used as a form to call the attention of Srimati Radharani, similar to how we say Hare Krishna and not Hari Krishna. Hare Krishna Hare Ram refers to the Mahamantra Hare Krishna Hare Ram. The full meaning of this Harinam or song with the names of Hari is Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. What is the method? Japa of the Mahamantra Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Bhaj Naitega Radheshyam. Worship Naitega and, through their mercy, you will attain Sri Sri Radheshyam in Vrindavan. These simple two lines encompass the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in its purest form. The lives of the Purva Acharyas were centered on the continuous repetition of the Mahamantra in Japa, as exemplified by Sri Haridas Thakur. Through this constant practice, immersion in the mantra, and worship of the holy names, Nitai, Gaura, Radhe, Shyam, Hare, Krishna, Ram, success is assured. In Bhaj Naitega Radheshyam Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram, the sadhana to follow and the goal to attain are explained. It is a Harinam that undoubtedly puts us on the right track for spiritual practice to achieve perfection in this very life. The proof of its truthfulness is the impressive number of Siddh Mahatmas that this Harinam Bhaj Naitega Radheshyam Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram has created over the past 100 years. Since this Harinam was descended into this earthly plane by Sri Sri Radharman Das Dev. Photography of Sri Sri Radharman Das Dev. Mahamantra.info Ahankare Matta Hoya. Nitai Pala Pasriya Astere Satya Kori Mani Nitiya Koruna Habe. Braje Radha Krishna Pabe Dharo Nitai Charan Dukhani Nitai Para Kamla Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura Manesh Shiksh Nitai Para Kamla. Koti Kandra Susitla Je Chayai Jagta Jure Heno Nitai Bain Bhai. Radha Krishna Pet Nai Dridha Kori. Dharo Nitai Pe Se Sambandha Nahi Ja. Britha Jan Gelo Ta Se Pasu Boro Duraka Nitai Na Bolilo Mukhe. Majilo Samsara Sukhe Vidyakule Ki Kori Betar. Nitiyar Charan Satya. Tahra Sevka Nitya Nitai Pala Sadakoro Asa Narotma Boro Dukhi. Nitai Mo Koro Sukhi Rakho Ranga Karnera Pasa. The lotus feet of Nitai. The lotus feet of Nitai bring peace like 1,000 moons. His shadow liberates the universe. Without Nitai, Radha Shyam in Vraj cannot be reached. Embrace his feet strongly. If you do not worship Nitai, this birth will be lost. You will be trapped in samsara. If your lips worship him, you will live in karma. What use will your birth be? The lotus feet of Nitai are transcendental truth. His devotees are liberated. Narottama is unhappy without Nitai Chand's lotus feet. Bind me to your lotus feet. Deceived by ignorance, they forget Nitai Chand and believe illusion to be truth. By Nitai's grace, Radha Krishna will be attained. Take refuge in him firmly. Bhaja Gouranga kaha Gouranga bhaja Gorga kaha Gorga laha Gorgera eneme rije jan Gorga bhaje. Simara pranare Gorga boli du. Bhutuliye NCIY Bero re Gurga bhajile Gorga japile hoy dukhera apsna re chorus. Worship Gouranga. Sing Gouranga. Speak only of Lord Gouranga. Those who worship Gouranga are truly my very life. 1. Singing Gouranga, with arms raised high, dancing and dancing. 2. By singing Gouranga and worshipping him, our miseries will end. Lord Nityanand Prabhu originally sang the chorus of this song. Nam Sankirtna Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura Hari Harai Namah Krishnayadvaya Namah Yadvaya Madhvaya Kesvaya Namah Gopala Govinda Rama Shri Mdusudna Giridhari Gopinatha Madna Mohna Shri Caitanya Nityanand Shri Advait Sita Hari Guru Vaishnav Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Ei Chai Goser Kori Charan Vandan Jaha Hoit Bijnanas Abhisht Puran Ei Chai Gosai Jar Mui Tar Das Tasbra Pararenu Mora Panka Gras Tadera Charane CBI भक्तासेन बस जन्मे जन्मे होय ईआई अभिलाष ईआई चाय गोसाई जबे ब्रजे कोयल बस राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला कोरिला प्रकाश आनंदे बोलो हरि भाजा वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव बापदे मजैया मन श्री गुरु वैष्णव बापरा पद्मा कोरी एज नरोत्तमा दसा कोही नम संकीर्तना ओ हरि ओ कृष्ण I offer my reverences to you, known as Hari, Yadava, Madhva and Keswa, or Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Shri Madhusudna, Giridhari Gopinatha, and Madana Mohna. All glories to Shri Caitanya and Nityanand. All glories to Shri Advait Acharya and his consort, Shri Sita Thakurani. All glories to Lord Hari, the spiritual master, the Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Shri Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Dasa Goswami. I offer my reverences to the feet of the 6 Goswamis. By bowing before them, all obstacles in bhakti are destroyed, and all spiritual desires are fulfilled. I am the servant of the person who is a servant of these 6 Goswamis. The dust from their lotus feet is my 5 kinds of food. This is my desire, that, birth after birth, I may lie with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of these 6 Goswamis. When the 6 Goswamis lived in Braja, they revealed the lost holy places and explained the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Simply chant the names of Lord Hari with great ecstasy and worship the transcendental realm of Vrindavana, while immersing your mind in meditation on the divine feet of Radha and Krishna, the spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas. Desiring to serve the lotus feet of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, Narottama Dasa sings this Sankirtana of the holy names of Lord Hari. Mahamantra.info idhana, yobana, putra, parijna ithe ki अच्छे परतिति रे कमला डालाजला, जीवन तलमाला भजहु हरिपड़ा नीति रे भाजाहु रे मना श्री नंदानंदना श्री गोविंदा दसा कविराजा भजहु रे मना श्री नंदानंदना अभय कैरना विंदा रे दुर्लाभा मानवा जन्मा सत्संगे तरोहो ए भव सिंधु रे सीता अटपा बता बारिशना ए दीना जामिनी जागी रे बिफले सेविनु कृपाना दुर्जन कपाला सुखालब लगी रे श्रावण कीर्तना स्मरण वंदना पड़ा सेवाना दसे रे पूजाना सखी जाना Atma Nivedan Govindad Sa Bilasha Re of mind. Simply worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which free us from fear. By obtaining this rare human birth, cross the ocean of material existence through the association of saintly persons. Both day and night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of heat and cold, wind and rain. For a fleeting moment of unstable happiness, I have vainly served wicked and greedy men. What assurance of true happiness exists in all wealth, youth, children, and family members? This life wavers like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you must always serve and worship the divine feet of Hari. The desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa is to engage in the 9 processes of bhakti, hearing the glories of Hari and chanting them, constantly remembering him, offering prayers, serving his lotus feet, serving Krishna as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense, Mahamantra.info serving as his friend, and completely surrendering to Krishna. Note, these 9 stages of bhakti are progressive. If we read them in order, they start with learning about Krishna. The word Shravana is translated as hearing about him. The last step is Atma Nivedan, which means complete surrender to Krishna. In reality, there is no better business than surrendering to Krishna, just as a wife surrenders to her husband, and the husband, with great devotion, protects and loves his wife. Similarly, we must fully surrender ourselves to Krishna. Thus, he will have no choice but to love and protect us without interruption. This is the success of Bhakti Yoga, reaching the highest realization, Gopi Bhav, transcendental feelings like that of a gopi in Vrindavana. Mahamantra.info Nitai Bhakti. Absolute Necessity by Sri Sachinandan Maharaja. Recommended reading Life of Love by Dr. Kapoor. Saints of Bengal by Dr. Kapoor. Saints of Vraj by Dr. Kapoor. Dr. Kapoor is taboo for many followers in the Western world. But do not miss the opportunity to read his translations. They are fascinating texts on the lives of the great Sage Mahatmas. Also look for his own writings referring to Sri Gouranga Mahaprabhu that open up a greater rasa. Sri Chaitanya Chandramrita by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj. Sri Nityanand Charitamrita, which is a compilation of the life of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, which is extracted from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. Mahamantra by R. Sundar Nanda DSA. No One Falls from Vakuha by Satyanarayan Das Babaji. Jai Mahavir Radharman. Jai Nitai. Jai Gaur. Jai Jay Sri Radheshyam. Sri Vaishnav Dasanudas Paramananda Das.